Hello, and welcome to a Play Let's Say. We're going to be talking about Fallout Unscripted Uncut. 133 hours put into this game, and where do I stand on it? It's not bad. It's just a bit... But let me explain that. I was a big fan of Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Put lots and lots of hours into them, multiple playthroughs with different personalities and things like that. So I really do feel that they've just sort of cut their nose off a bit in this game. Let's just start talking about the combat. It's probably been the weakest feature in all the Fallout games. It's always been the combat. And by them making VATS just slow down time rather than stop time, the changes they've made to the combat is none really. The only difference is now if you sort of go around the corner and there's someone with a big rocket there, you're not going to have enough time to move out of the way before you sort of realise it's coming towards you. So the combat for me just generally turned into, alright, I'll put on some power armour, I'll sit here and I will just shoot you all down before you can shoot me down. And there's in fact even boosts that you can get for just standing still during combat or versus ones where you're moving during combat. So with the combat not being what I would sort of define as precision combat, sort of your Counter-Strike, your Call of Duty, Battlefield, aim for the head, drop people down quickly sort of combat, and it's also not Doom combat which is just sort of fun, gun thousands and thousands of things down without really caring. It's somewhere in the middle, and to me that is somewhere where it's nowhere at all even. So let's move on to the RPG features. So I've put it down, the game has failed to be a combat-driven game for me. So the role-playing features in this game, again, just didn't sit well with me. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I think this has been covered a lot, but the choice trees in the chat just seemed very restrictive to me. There was times when I just asked for more information and ended up accepting missions. And I didn't feel like I was being very mean. There was times when I could sort of backstab people a little bit and do things like that, but being able to mass manipulate a situation to my advantage I felt like an option that just wasn't really there. But I said I wouldn't spend long on that, so let's move on to settlement buildings, another thing that really grinded my goat. So, settlement buildings, this is where the game essentially says that you take over a place, you have a village there, you invite people in, they do things for you. So I experimented quite a lot with the settlements. One settlement I set with loads of water, because I'd read somewhere that if you mass produce water and there's more water than your people need, you'll find purified water is being made for you. But I didn't find this at all. Just really didn't find it. I put 10 scrap places in one to see whether I'd get new scrap. I think in the whole time I played, unless it came from somewhere else, I had 10 flares that randomly appeared in my workshop, and that was it. So even this didn't seem to be working correctly or as it should, or to benefit me in any way. In fact, the only way that the settlement seemed to benefit me was that if I could put down a big shooty explodey thing in the middle and shoot off. I built a big light building, as you'll probably see during this video. This took a long time because they've also maxed the potential sizes of the settlements, I think, to stop the downsizing of game performance. And this didn't even work properly. I was deleting some buildings and finding out that I couldn't build others, and it turns out there's a really complicated formula about what does go towards size and what doesn't, and how it does affect and doesn't affect. So it took me a long time just to get that going. And also, without these sort of uses of electrical circuits in the same way that you get in Minecraft, some of the fun things that you can do in Minecraft were by learning how to manipulate the red ore stuff, which I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. You didn't get in this. And even when trying to build, say, like a kitchen. So I built a big mansion, for 4 floors, about 20 tiles by 20 tiles, and I started getting into it, and then I realised there was no fridges that I could build, or no ovens I could build. The types of tables, sides, cabinets, things like that. There was a lot more in the game than I was allowed to build, which, pee smells to me of DLC. And if they dare cram our DLC in as those things that you can build, because I'm not going to believe there's any work put into it because the skins are already there in the world, so you're not having to design them anymore. All you've got to do is put the ability to build them into the game, and as it's already there to be built, and there's already a scrapping system, then I don't believe that is much work. So just be warned, Bethesda, if you are planning on producing a DLC package around settlement buildings, then you're probably going to have quite a lot of backlash from that, quite a lot indeed. So I just found the settlements actually weren't worthwhile bothering with in the end. Put down a radio tower, a few defences, and then just leave them be. Just leave them be. And on top of that, oh my word, the quests that you get from the settlements are just the most boring, tedious things there. I mean, it's like Bethesda hasn't even looked at the memes about fetch quests and things online. Apathy Farm, completed a quest there, handed it in. One of the people who got kidnapped. As soon as I fast travelled away from handing that in and talking to the leader of the Minutemen, they immediately got kidnapped again and wanted me to go and rescue them again, which is the point which I actually stopped caring about the missions that were based there. So moving on to the factions. So you've got a few factions that represent the different moral choices, and this game really represents you with one big moral choice. It's based around your treatment of robots. But that's what I didn't like about this compared to Fallout 3 and New Vegas, was because in there wasn't such a main sort of storyline of the world. I mean, you could pick whether you wanted to rule the world through democracy or through power, but each settlement, each little area, corner of the map had its own little dilemma, its own little thing to worry about, whether it was a town that was picking people to kill by a lottery, or whether it was just a town that just had a load of ghouls. I mean, I remember the tree mission, but you don't seem to get any of that localization, interesting stuff in this game. There are a few disconnected missions that are a bit more interesting, but they don't really represent you with a moral choice, and most of them just turn into fetch quests anyway. So I found myself not being as immersed into this world as previous ones. I know it was a lot bigger, and when they say a lot bigger, I think they mean they've crammed the middle of the map a lot more than they have done previously, because the outlining of the map, if you've played the game, you know, is still quite scarce. And it's just this overcomplication with everything trying to work together that I feel that they've limited themselves to creating pockets of high interest rather than trying to paint the whole world with this interesting brush. But alright, that's enough of that. So customization of weapons and armor is my next note. So customization in this game is boring. It's just so boring. You sort of give yourself a small boost towards things, pick whether a weapon's long range or short range. But do you know what I want, Fallout? I want to be able to change my rocket launcher so that it fires teddy bear fired rockets. I want to be able to change my assault rifle so it shoots backwards as well as forwards. I want you to do stupid things. I don't want this boring sort of levelling up system, because it really is just sillily tedious. And the fact that you put legendary weapons in there means that you just wait till you get a legendary weapon, look at the buff of it, and then change that weapon to whatever you really want that weapon to be in the most basic sense. Be stupid with it, be adventurous with it, but please realise that is something that you got wrong again, and do not release it as DLC. I'm begging you. What the DLC we need is, I'm not going to say more missions, but a better story narrative missions. Create small 4 or 5 well written, we care about, not about robots, story choices, and present us with some choice. But anyway, that is my rant about Fallout 4 done, and this is my first non-scripted attempt, so hopefully this goes well and I've not made a mistake with the audio, otherwise this will be an awfully long time wasted. But enjoy the world.